If you've been feeling like America suddenly costs more, you're not imagining it. Groceries cost more. Rent costs more. Car insurance? More. Healthcare? Definitely more. Even the little things, coffee, snacks, everyday essentials, somehow feel heavier than they used to. And the strangest part? Your paycheck barely moved. This is the moment millions of Americans are stuck in. The moment where life feels the same, but paying for that life feels completely different. And here's the thing most people don't realize. This wasn't one big event. This wasn't one bad year. This was a slow, quiet shift, years in the making, that suddenly snapped into focus during the last few years. Because America didn't just get more expensive. America became more expensive. And to understand why, you need to zoom out. You need to look at the bigger picture, the picture that starts in your daily life, but stretches all the way to the systems running behind it. Let's start with the most obvious signal that something changed: your bills. People used to complain about rent. Now they complain about everything. The cost of living isn't rising in one place. It's rising everywhere at once. Housing, insurance, cars, healthcare, groceries, utilities, all of them. And that's not normal. Most Americans feel this shift but can't explain it. They look at their bank account and think, I make more than my parents did, so why do I feel poorer? And that's exactly the right question. Because the answer doesn't start with spending. It starts with the system America built, a system quietly squeezing the middle class year after year. But before we dive into the system, we need to talk about what hit American families first and hardest: insurance, housing, and the illusion of choice. The things nobody warned you were about to explode. Let's start with something you never used to think about, because it never used to change so fast. Insurance. Your car insurance went up. Your home insurance went up. Your health insurance, up even more. Not by a few dollars, by 20, 30, sometimes 50%. And here's the weird part. Nothing about your life changed. You didn't crash your car. You didn't file claims. You didn't do anything wrong. The system changed. Insurance companies raised prices across the country because climate risk increased, medical care got more expensive, and corporate consolidation made competition disappear. And when competition disappears, prices don't rise, they jump. But insurance is just one side of the squeeze. The second pressure, the one millennials and Gen Z feel most, is housing. Your parents could buy a home with 2 or 3 years of income. Today, you need 8 to 10 years in many states. And that's if you're doing everything right. The price of the average home doubled. Mortgage rates doubled. Down payments doubled. Rent soared because people who couldn't afford to buy stayed renting longer. This isn't a housing market, it's a trap. And while people were distracted by housing, something else was happening behind the scenes. Something quieter, something more powerful. Corporate consolidation. You walk into a store and see 40 brands, but behind those brands, maybe 2 or 3 companies actually exist. 4 companies dominate meat. 2 companies dominate beer. 3 companies dominate airlines. 2 dominate internet service. 2 dominate diapers. 1 dominates shipping. You think you're choosing between options, but the system already chose for you. When companies merge, they get power. And when they get power, prices rise. Not because costs rise,
but because they can. And this is the moment where everything starts to connect. Insurance, housing, corporations buying each other, prices creeping up. But the real break, the moment everything snapped, hasn't happened yet. That moment comes next.
Every story has a turning point. For America's cost of living crisis, that turning point was the year everything stopped. 2020 wasn't just a pandemic. It was a collapse of the entire economic engine. Let's start with the obvious part. America printed money, a lot of money. Over $3.5 trillion poured into the system in less than 2 years. Businesses needed help. Families needed help. But that much money in the economy, it changed how everything was priced. Money printing didn't cause inflation alone, but it poured gasoline on a fire that was already burning. Because while the money was flowing, the supply chain was breaking. Factories shut down, ports backed up, truckers quit, warehouses overflowed, shipping costs multiplied by 4, 6, even 10 times. A container that used to cost $2,000 suddenly cost $12,000. Companies didn't panic. They adapted. But the way they adapted is the key to everything. They rebuilt supply chains, but rebuilt them more expensively. They hired workers, but at higher wages. They bought materials, but paid more than ever before. They took on risk, but demanded higher prices to offset it. And once prices went up, they didn't come back down. Because the new cost structure wasn't temporary, it became permanent. And this is where the squeeze gets real. Middle-class incomes barely moved for 20 years, but the cost of nearly everything, goods, services, fees, essentials, jumped because the entire system rewired itself during the pandemic. This is the moment people felt the shift. Groceries didn't feel normal. Rent didn't feel normal. Bills didn't feel normal. Because nothing was normal. The whole structure had changed, and families were caught in the middle. But there's still one more layer. One more reason America feels more expensive every year, even when inflation slows down. And this one hits deeper than numbers. It hits identity. It hits the American dream.
Here's the truth most people don't want to say out loud. For almost 40 years, prices rose, but wages didn't. Productivity increased, profits increased, corporate power increased, but worker compensation? Flat. The average American today earns more on paper, but less in reality. Housing takes more. Insurance takes more. Healthcare takes more. Childcare takes more. Education takes more. The things people need to live, not luxuries, not extras, cost more than ever. Your parents built a life with one income. Today, people struggle with two. It's not because people are irresponsible. It's not because younger generations don't work hard. It's because the system changed faster than wages could keep up. A system where corporations grew bigger, prices rose faster, essentials became investments, housing became speculation, insurance became unavoidable, healthcare became a business, and the American dream drifted further away. And people were left asking, why am I doing everything right, but still falling behind? Here's why. Because the ground moved beneath your feet. America didn't just get more expensive. It became a place where the cost of simply existing outpaced the ability to pay for that existence. And that is why everything feels harder, why everything feels heavier, why every month feels more fragile than the last. This story isn't about failure, it's about friction. Friction between what America used to be and what America is becoming. And unless something changes, structurally, not individually, this feeling, this pressure, this weight might be the new normal.